Now it's time for our third match. Shelton, Benjamin, and Maven. Shelton's going to get the win to retain the Intercontinental title. 6 minutes and 8 seconds in. It only gets 6 minutes here and 8 seconds. And the T-bone suplex gets the pin. For whatever reason, Wade was not excited about this one. He gave it -2 stars.
Ew.
This is bowling shoe ugly. Hellacious is the word you use to describe it.
Yeah, well, hey, some days you're on, some days you're not. They had no chemistry. Maven never lived up, in my opinion, to what Maven should have been a talker of some kind, a color guy, a broadcaster, a host. He just didn't have that innate, natural ability to connect with the audience. And a finer guy, sweeter guy, nicer guy, you'll never meet. So he should have been put into an area that he could be successful on a good high level. And that was never going to be a wrestler unless he's got a personality transplant.
Let's talk about, man, that was pretty brutal. Do you remember in all your times in wrestling, there ever being back-to-back matches where you had major injuries like this to start the show?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's happened somewhere along the way. That's what happens. And the irony is that both those talents, Lita and Eugene, I think would you say they're non-contact injuries?
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was a collision. She was trying to do a Thez press.
Right.
It's just, I mean, it's bad luck. It's not like anybody did anything wrong, but the idea that you have two of those to open a show, it's just like,
it's the worst way to start off. Pardon me. It's like your Monday night, if Ohio State kicking off to Notre Dame and the guy from Notre Dame returns it. That's how you start the game. Some of those big starts have drawn a lot of attention. Big hits, fumbles on the kickoff, things like that. It's just hard to get up past it. It's hard to get. You want to build some positive momentum, and those two injuries back to back. Even though we didn't know how serious they were at that time, at least on TV, I didn't have the information yet because the doctor was still examining them. It was a good thing we had a doctor there, our doctor. I think his name was Dr. Rios, if I'm not mistaken. But he was good to have there because he spoke Spanish. He was an American doctor. And we used him that day. He got his money's worth.
Next up, we've got Muhammad Hassan beating Jerry Lawler in 10 minutes and 51 seconds. And it's written here, I thought this would work because Puerto Rican wrestling fans react like it was 1980. But there were a few better at knowing how to work in that year than Jerry Lawler. Of course, this should have been fun, but for whatever reason, it was not. The crowd was not into it. They even start chanting boring in English. It gets a dud rating, but you are a part of the match. You're getting a little involved. And I love the Muhammad Hassan idea behind the character. I don't think maybe an execution and timing was probably off. You know, who would have ever imagined that they would have had the bombing, but it did feel like on paper this would work. It just doesn't.
Yeah, well, it's just they didn't. Hassan, and I love Jerry Lawler like a brother. Truly, everybody knows that. Might not have been the best booking.
Yeah.
Just oil and water. Lawler's so good and so natural that it's taken for granted a lot. You know, you go back and look at some of those old tapes when he was younger. That son of a bitch could work. He was pretty amazing in-ring talent that we don't remember as much as we remember the comedic talent and the gimmick talent that we've seen in WWE. So, WWF as well, of course. But boy, I don't know, Conrad. I just, the chemistry is disappointing. It seemed like it was rushed. I remember Hassan did a deal prior to this where he slapped me in the face when I was wearing my headsets. And a piece of the headset went into my temple. And I of course got a little juice. So I said, I didn't know you were a good color. I said, neither did I. It's a surprise to me too. So I don't know. I really truly wish it had been better, but it wasn't good.
Next up, we've got Kane and Gene Snitsky. We've got a little bit of heat, but well, then the bell rang. It's a dud rating. Fans aren't with it. It's not the best match you ever saw. I mean, respectfully, Kane and Gene Snitsky going 12 minutes. I don't know. And just the whole idea of this storyline, you know, we're kicking babies into the audience. Just
6 minutes is plenty of time.
Yes,
including the entrances. And if you're booking and you're using logic, that picture that Bull Ramos put up there a while ago, those two guys in the shot, tells you about all you need to know. There's nothing there, and it was a cold match, and Snitsky, and I like Gene a lot, by the way, wasn't over to any degree to be on a pay-per-view. And Kane had kind of had his run, it seemed like. And he needed to be refreshed and take a break. It just wasn't, the timing was horrible. And if I was hiring talent to work in a territory, I'd hire both those guys. I just wouldn't book them together until time was right. Until they both were over. And Snitsky never got over. His gimmick was, what his gimmick, some kind of sexual thing? I don't know.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, Christy Hemme, Candice Michelle, Stacy Keebler, and Maria Kanellis are all taking part of a show-long vignette poolside. Lots of time, lots of rubbing oil on people. It is exactly what you'd expect from WWE in this era. And it's time for our main event.
Val Venus made the cut. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did. There were some other people too. Rob Conway was there. Rosie was there. Hurricane was there. But now it's time for our Elimination Chamber match. It's for the world title. This is the held up world title, where we're going to see Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho and Edge and Randy Orton and Batista and, of course, Triple H. Surprise, Triple H wins. They get plenty of time in the main event here. People are really digging it. Maybe it's a one match show, maybe some might say 4.25 stars, but they go like over 30 minutes. Orton hits the RKO on Triple H. Shawn Michaels was distracted by Flair, so Shawn's going to deck Flair. Batista gives Orton a clothesline, lays him out, and then Triple H pins Orton with a pedigree. And the show ends with Batista carrying Triple H on his shoulder and Flair giving him the thumbs up sign. People are waiting for Flair to do the thumbs down, but it doesn't happen. So, of course, that whole thumbs up, thumbs down, electric chair drop, that's what they did at SummerSlam to kick Randy Orton out of Evolution. And maybe people thought they were going to see that here with Batista, but not yet. It's a nice main event, maybe a forgotten main event.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was on a shitty show.
Yes.
It's on a shitty show. What do you remember about that event in Puerto Rico? Well, the main event was good.
Yes.
You know, talent never left their hotel. Well, where the fuck you want to go sightseeing? You're working here. You got a job. You're getting paid for being here. And part of the responsibility of being here is to be in this hotel and the casino and the restaurants, or God forbid, your fucking room. You got cable. And that made a lot of guys happy. They could watch a ball game or whatever they wanted to see. Saturday night was a big sports night. So if you're in your room, that's what I did. What I remember most vividly about going to Puerto Rico, Conrad, and I can't remember the game, but Raphael Morphy taught me how to play, I think, roulette or something like that. One of those card table type games. roulette or something. And we played that for a long time, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I didn't make any money, but I had fun as hell. Good old Raphael. You know, Raphael is the father of one of the great young baseball prospects in America. He's going to Vegas to do a tournament, and big stuff. I saw him work out. They have a place here, and so I went to the baseball practice. He got into a little league, and this kid, goddamn, what an arm! Conrad, your jaw would drop. He's gifted, and his dad is doing the right things by keeping him around the sport in a very high quality way with coaches and teams and things like that. I don't know how I got on that topic, but Raphael in the casino.
Well, Alex Marvez is doing an interview with Victoria for his newspaper that he does down in South Florida, or he did back then. And he's talking about these ladies, and she's saying we're all confused. There's so many girls who do not have wrestling experience. I can't hate them. Of course, I'm jealous of Christy Hemme, but I hope that they're itching to wrestle because that's what happened to me. I don't want to see us die out there. Of course, this is an interview given just days after we see Lita get a torn ACL. Not that those things are related, but, you know, it is a dangerous business. Phil Livingston, who was a member of WWE senior management, he's being
I want to address that Lita, what's her name?
Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria. She's had a lot of names, Conrad.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed working with her. She's very intelligent, but she worries too much. And couldn't say it to her. Well, maybe I did get a version of it. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You're making a great living. You got a job that there are not a lot available in this world. Chill. Enjoy the ride. Get better at what you do for a living, and worry less about somebody else or who's got a Playboy deal or whatever. So I just cool it. And if things get unattainable and something's wrong and you need to get out of here, well, I'll release you.
What a fun, interesting show we had today.